just that. If you do it, if you tell a story around it, if you blame yourself or others, you justify, you do anything, you complicate it. It's not that you're not right. Someone did maybe give you a hard time. It's not that that's not true. It's just that you can't go there. If you do, you're right back in the movie. You're right back there creating more drama, stirring things up again. So when I say experiences aren't important, I'm not invalidating what we feel. I'm just saying, feel it, let it, like it says, it's a bloody mess. Let it rip you up a little bit, bleed a little bit, and then go back to the cushion. Go back to your practice, and go back and, as they say, hold your seat. Just hold your seat. A sense of presence, a sense of dignity. I mean, if you flipped out 10 minutes ago, it doesn't matter. That's past. Just come back right here to square one. Start over again. That's why Suzuki Roshi talks about in his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. Beginner's mind. It's always a fresh start. There's always just this right now. This floor, this wall, this cushion. Just this. Training the mind to just stop making a mess of things. Stop meddling with your mind. Sometimes I say, tell people to trust themselves. And of course they'll turn around and use that on me. You said trust myself, that's what I'm doing. So that's when they're doing something I said they probably shouldn't be doing. And of course this is a person who has accepted me as a teacher. If you haven't accepted me as a teacher, I'm not likely to recommend anything to you. But if you have, I'm probably going to be in your shit, so to speak. It can get difficult. So when I say trust yourself, I don't mean believe your thoughts, believe your emotions, believe your story, believe, and think that you're right or justified. I don't mean that. I'm not saying push that away. I'm saying observe that. See how that climbs up the wall of the well where everything's dark and gloomy and everything's starting to come up, all those emotions. Okay. Just observe that and don't make anything of it. Don't take it to the bank. So trust, you would think, well, isn't trust knowing what you're going to do or knowing what's logical or what's reasonable? No. That's more about ego, more about self-centeredness, getting ahead, making it in samsara, making it in this world. If you want to do that, then you're not going to be here. You wouldn't be interested in this information. Not that you can't do that too. You can certainly, you all need to have a job and do something and be pretty good at it. But from the point of view of a spiritual path or practice or transcending this separate self that creates so much suffering for ourselves and for those we come in contact with, because if you're creating it for yourself, you're radiating it. Just like compassion. If you're compassionate with yourself, you're understanding with yourself, you're giving yourself a break, and you're all through blaming yourself, people will feel that when they're around you. They will start to feel that you have a little bit lighter touch than you had last week. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll blame you and run away. So trusting yourself doesn't mean believing all the thoughts that come up with the emotions. Trust actually might be better described in the way that I'm talking about it as being willing to not know. Being willing to sit here and not have a clue about what you're going to do next. And not feel like you have to drum up a bunch of information to protect your separate self. I've got to have a plan. I've got to know what I'm going to do. Here again, maybe you're not ready to do this. In which case, I'd say, well, go ahead and plan. It's not like a mandate you have to do. You should trust yourself to know when you're even ready to jump off the cliff without a parachute. So it's very interesting, I think, and very important as meditators to begin to look at the emotion, look at the feelings as they arise, and notice when you begin, when the feeling is just what happens, and notice when you add to it. Just see, that's what meditation is, to be able to see when we start to use discursive thought to generate an idea, an opinion around something that supports the separate self or ego. In the Yogacara tradition of the eight teaching of the eight consciousnesses, it's the seventh consciousness, or Klisto Manavijnana, when that particular area that grasps at a separation or separate self. So beginning to see how we do that, it starts to happen less, because there's more a sense of trusting ourselves that you can actually be with whatever arises. That you're already, as they say in the Shambhala tradition, already have basic goodness. That you're so much basic goodness that negative things are welcome to come and go within your milieu, within your environment. You're not threatened by things. It's a sense of confidence not based on whether somebody likes you, doesn't like you, accepts you, rejects you, embezzles from you. Or just basically gives you a hard time. And the world's doing that, isn't it? It's giving us a hard time. One way or another, something, our friends, our parents, or the friends that have gone haywire, our parents, our job, the hard luck we've had where we didn't get to be Bill Gates. Questions or comments so far? Experience? Trusting yourself? The suggestion that you should perhaps stop giving your negative emotions or your positive emotions all that much credit. I'm not saying shutting them down at all. I'm saying allow them to rise, and if you don't do anything with, just observe that something. If you don't do anything with it, even though while it's happening it feels like this is never going away, well, everything goes away a lot sooner if you don't fool around with it, if you don't push or pull or explain or justify or condemn. Zach?
Adding on to that, I had an experience tonight where when I had like a full sense of knowing of my senses, I kind of had an energy flowing in my chest and in my heart. It was like a sense of like joy and happiness, but when I started to notice it with my thoughts, it went away. And then I started trying to think about it to try to make it come back, but it didn't. It was just kind of like once I started to have that full sense of knowing again, it came back.
Yeah. Anytime we hold the body really still and observe almost anything, that may never happen to someone else, but may happen to you daily. Someone else might be having completely other types of emotions or thoughts or memories or passion, aggression, ignorance, good feelings, negative feelings. So the idea here is it's important to just observe what it is and add as little as you can to it. In the beginning, it seems to be noticing how much we add on to stuff. And then we begin to, it isn't like we stop doing that or push it away or talk ourselves out of it. It's like it's so obvious that it's like, when you see it, it's like sticking your hand in a fire. Oh, that kind of burns. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. Whereas before, it's like doing that, but having such a story around it that you don't really see that you're doing it. You don't really see you're creating your own difficulty, creating your own suffering. It can be painful.
And you said they can be different kind of feelings. They could be a negative feeling too.